day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Tuesday, 3 February 2026. I'm Katie Wechuma, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. President Chamisa will take us to New Zimbabwe, says Mkhwananzi. Take a leaf from the UAE, Mnangagwa told. Sikala back in court. Now let's take a look at our stories in detail. The spokesperson for the opposition, Promise Mkhwananzi, has vowed that Advocate Chamisa will soon lead the country. Speaking to Citizens Movement Radio on the occasion of President Chamisa's 48th birthday, Mkhwananzi said Advocate Chamisa is going to lead a transformation revolutionary which will see Zimbabwe reclaim its status as a jewel of Africa. Let's hear Mkhwananzi speaking.
We have absolutely no doubt in our minds that a new Zimbabwe beckons, a new great Zimbabwe for everyone, led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa, shall become a reality in the not so distant future, and the lives of our people will be transformed, the situation in our country will be improved, the economy will work for everyone, the situation will be better, and our people will have hope again. And this can only and will only happen through the astute leadership of Advocate Nelson Chamisa. We look forward to that day. It may be dark, but it's darkest when it's dawn. History will be written. Change will come to Zimbabwe. Advocate Nelson Chamisa will usher in that new great Zimbabwe together with a great team of leaders from across the country that will be representative of the demographics of our country. It will be an inclusive, democratic, and transparent governance under the leadership of Advocate Nelson Chamisa.
ZANU-PF detector Emmerson Mnangagwa must take a leave from the United Arab Emirates, where he is attending the third session of the World Government Summit. This was said by Mbizo Member of Parliament, Honorable Koban Mazivanyika, who added that Mr. Mnangagwa must learn from countries in the Middle East like UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, who are effectively using their natural resources to develop their countries. Let's hear Honorable Mazivanyika speaking.
The World Government Summit is the prestigious international fora or a prestigious event where governments from across the world converge and meet in Dubai every year, every year to meet and discuss ways upon which they can improve their economic fortunes, tapping from the various investors who will be meeting in Dubai there. So, under this year's World Government Summit, you find that Zimbabwe has been attending these meetings for quite a long time, but there is nothing serious to show on the ground as compared to other countries like United Arab Emirates, countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like Qatar in the Middle East. Those are the countries who have got the ability to take maximum opportunity as they come to develop their countries. So you will find that in the case of Zimbabwe, the World Government Forum or the World Government Forum, it is actually an opportunity for these countries to advertise their long-term visions. It is an opportunity for all countries to forge strategic alliances at that prestigious meeting of governments. It gives them an opportunity as well to pull investment and talent. It also gives the countries an opportunity to validate their policies on a global stage. So you will find that all that works to optimize their God-given resources for sustainable economic growth. So you will find that, let me give a few examples. In the Middle East, taking United Arab Emirates, which is the popular known, people don't want to call it Dubai. The United Arab Emirates has a sovereign wealth fund, has got two sovereign wealth funds, which is largely the largest in the Middle East. So you see that United Arab Emirates manages two social sovereign wealth funds. A sovereign wealth fund is a fund which is built for future generations. In our case in Zimbabwe, we compare it to Mutapa Investment Fund. So in the United Arab Emirates is managing two sovereign wealth funds. The first one is called the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, which manages assets worth over 1.1 trillion United States dollars. And another sovereign wealth fund is called the Mubadala Investment Fund. The Mubadala Investment Fund, which manages assets worth 276 billion US dollars. That is United Arab Emirates. So in total, the sovereign wealth fund of the United Arab Emirates is worth around 1.4 trillion US dollars. So if you compare with the 16 billion worth of assets in Zimbabwe, it's so pathetic. It shows that Zimbabwe, with its abundant resources, is going to manage to only to deal with or to raise assets worth 16 billion in its fund. To me, that is a sign of a lack of determination, lack of due diligence on the part of our country. Let me give another example, a case of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia manages a sovereign wealth fund with assets to the tune of 923 billion, which is more than 100 times our assets in Zimbabwe, which is 16 billion. But if you look at Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe is richer in terms of its natural resource endowments. Saudi Arabia is only endowed with oil. The same applies with the United Arab Emirates. They are only endowed with oil as a natural resource. But with Zimbabwe, if we talk of minerals, over 66 minerals, we have got the largest deposit of rare earth minerals in Zimbabwe. If you talk of gold, if you talk of platinum, if you talk of diamond, etc. If you look at our agricultural setup, we have got the best land for agriculture. We have got the best conditions for agriculture. But what is happening? What is happening is that Zimbabwe is not doing enough in terms of improving the economic fortunes of our country. Alas, or conversely, you find that this country is suffering from the corrupt syndicates which are being neglected by government. Government is actually playing a watch and see, a catch and release system on corrupt individuals. And instead, the bulk of the criminals are in the government themselves. They are in high political positions. They are in high political powers. So, by and large, it is clear and it is fundamental to understand that for Zimbabwe to improve and take advantage of these world government summits, it must ensure that the local environment is conducive for business. Let us do away with corruption. Let us do away with lack of respect for human rights. Let us do away with the lack of with the undemocratic elections. Let us do away with the huge debt, ensuring that Zimbabwe is a credible nation on those fora, so that other nations and investors will take us seriously.
The former MP for Zengeza West, Job Sikhala, appeared in court today in Pretoria, South Africa, for commencement of his trial. Sikhala, a prominent opposition official, is facing charges of illegal possession of explosives, which he argues were inserted into his vehicle by ZANU-PF agents. He was arrested in December last year, with the police acting on a tip-off, but was granted by the courts. In court today, the judges postponed the trial to 4 May 2026, saying prosecutors need more time to gather evidence, including DNA samples. The Constitutional Court will hear an application on February 9, 2026, challenging ZANU-PF's 2024 Resolution Number 1, seeking to extend Mr. Mnangagwa's tenure to 2030. The case pits the government and ZANU-PF against civic group Ipechuliga Zulu, which argues the move violates constitutional term limits. ZANU-PF says the resolution is lawful, procedural, and aimed at stability, insisting no formal amendment process has begun. The applicants argue any changes to presidential term limits require a national referendum under Section 328, Part 7, and undermine public participation. The Chipinge South Member of Parliament, Honorable Clifford Hlachwayo, has urged villagers in his constituency to be wary of lung cancer. Addressing a gathering in his constituency over the weekend, Honorable Hlachwayo urged the villagers to build kitchens with proper ventilation and chimneys so that they do not inhale soot and dangerous gases. Honorable Hlachwayo also called villagers to avoid public smoking, warning that it is dangerous to non-smokers like children. A divorce court case involving former ZANU-PF cabinet minister Ignatius Chombo and his wife has exposed grand looting by ruling party political elites. The scale and spread of Chombo's properties dotted around the country and in South Africa has raised questions on how the former minister acquired such vast of land and properties in urban centers. One of the officials in the opposition, Eric Gono, has said there is a need for lifestyle audits of public office bearers as a mechanism to curb corruption, Gono said.
The divorce of Mr. Chombo has again sparkled a lot of debate in terms of government policy in ensuring that those that are in power are regulated in terms of how much they can abuse their power. Mr. Chombo, as the Minister of Local Government in charge of all the urban lands, and the next thing he does is he gives himself so much land and property across every city in this country. And after his removal from that position, we have not seen any probe into how he accumulated all those assets. So it's a serious challenge that ZANU-PF politicians are thieves, where they go there to thieve and there is no lifestyle audit whatsoever upon inception and exit of public office. Mr. Chombo can be a rich man, but there is no man who can be that rich. And if we look at how he has been accumulating these properties in every city, it's clear that he was abusing his powers as the Minister of Local Government in charge of urban lands. I think that the people of Zimbabwe must wake up and probe each and every government minister, each and every government official, and to ensure that those people do not abuse their powers whilst they're in office. Mr. Chombo is a perfect example of how much the people of Zimbabwe are losing valuables to these politicians.
Yesterday, the High Court dismissed an application for leave to appeal of convicted ZANU-PF fraudsters Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu. In dismissing the application, the High Court Judge Pisirai Kwenda said the intended appeal shows disdain of court processes. He said the duo who were convicted of fraud involving US 7.7 million gold scandal deserves their lengthy sentences. Meanwhile, here in Zimbabwe, opposition activist Godfrey Karembera, better known as Matsibaba Veshanduko, remains in pre-trial detention at Harare Remand Prison. Matsibaba Veshanduko was arrested in October last year and was denied bail by both Magistrates Court and High Court. He is facing charges of inciting political violence emanating from distributing anti-Mnangagwa flyers in Budiriro, Harare. Most dams that supply Bulawayo City with water are said to be half full, despite heavy rains that were received in that part of the country this season. Illegal gold mining activities have been cited as the reason behind the water crisis. Authorities say most river courses feeding the dams have been diverted by mining activities of gold panels. Some dams are also being affected by siltation due to riverbed mining. Unsealed U.S. Justice Department documents cite a 2017 FBI report alleging that pedophile Jeffrey Epstein secretly managed wealth fund for former Zimbabwe President Robert Mugabe. The claim revives long-standing allegations that Mugabe amassed vast wealth while Zimbabwe's economy collapsed during his rule from 1980 to 2017. Mugabe's later years were marked with authoritarian repression, disastrous land reforms, and hyperinflation. Reports have alleged his family accumulated up to $1 billion through corruption, including diamonds, offshore accounts, and luxury properties. In our sports news, the January football transfer window closed yesterday in England and in most European countries. There were moves for Warriors defender Munashe Karananga and captain Marvelous Nakamba. Karananga was loaned to Scottish side Hibernian for the rest of the season by his Danish club Copenhagen. Nakamba joined Sheffield United on a free transfer after terminating his contract with Luton Town. In an English Premier League match played last night, Sunderland thumped Burnley 3-0 to drift further away from relegation. Tonight, Arsenal will host London rivals Chelsea in the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal lead the tie 3-2 from their first leg win at Stamford Bridge 2 weeks ago. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once more. President Chamisa will take us to New Zimbabwe, says Mkwananzi. Take a leaf from UAE, Mnangagwa told. Sikala back in court. This is the end of our bulletin. Good day.